Welcome back. Well, if you're looking for the safest way to protect your officers when they're especially looking at drugs, look no further than Rigaku. I'm here with Michael Brown, and I tell you what, very impressed with this because these are such dangerous drugs that we're working with. It's going to protect the officer, but it's also going to streamline getting evidence into the courtroom. Tell us a little bit about Rigaku.
Yes, Bill. Rigaku is a company that, as you can see, produces an enhanced 1064 Raman laser. And basically what that is, and I'll show you one of our devices here. Utilizing this device, it produces a laser which can identify unknown substances, which does three things. One, it protects the officer from having to open a package. As you know, fentanyl, trace elements can produce a lethal result. Two, it gives the officer a very high probability of what we call presumptive analysis. And that means whatever the device says it is most likely that device. And third, in terms of court prosecution, prosecutors love presumptive analysis with Raman spectroscopy because it gives a very accurate assessment of what the substance is. So if a police officer makes a stop, does a test, and it comes back as cocaine, he can then go and get a search warrant, an arrest warrant, and continue his investigation because these will all be relevant facts when it's time for prosecution.
And we can do so safely as well, as you mentioned. We don't have to open the bag and touch anything.
Right, exactly. And I'll give you an example of that. This is one of our new devices. This is called the Handheld. And basically this can identify precursor chemicals, narcotics, and chemical weapons as well as explosives. And so what we're going to do is simply set up for a scan, run through an operational scenario. For example, a police officer, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, he pulls over a vehicle, sees a suspicious substance on the seat. After securing and making the situation safe, the officer then takes the substance, and as you can see, without having to open the bag, he can simply press it to the laser. And what we'll do is we're going to hit scan, scan one more time, put in the code, and scan. Now within 20 to 25 seconds, the laser is going to tell us within a high probability what that substance is. And again, we're talking about the need for accurate and fast presumptive analysis that will lead to a justifiable arrest, a search and seizure, or a search warrant. Now here the data has been processed, and as you can see, this is actually lactose, and the device is identified at lactose with a 0.97 percentage that this is most likely lactose. So if this was fentanyl, the officer would have a very high probability rating that yes, what you're looking at is fentanyl. Then he can take the necessary safety precautions to ensure his safety as well as the defendant's safety.
I have to imagine that this is going to become the next best friend of the law enforcement officer, and also when it comes to prosecuting that crime as well, the evidence is going to be held up in court.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at, in the last 2 years, 200,000 individuals has died as a result of Mexican cartel fentanyl surging throughout the United States. Our law enforcement officers are our first responders. They're the ones who are going to be coming in contact with cartel transportation vehicles who are moving fentanyl across the country. They're going to be the ones coming in contact and handling evidence. But before all that, they need the technology that's going to keep them safe. You know, officers wear bulletproof vests to protect them. They now have body cams, right? They have all sorts of safety tools in their kit. So we're just adding some advanced technology to that kit to increase that safety, making sure the officer is completely protected when he's on the street.
Yeah, there are new hazards out there. We need different protections as well.
It's very important that law enforcement keep up with the cartel threat. We see the cartels evolving very rapidly, and generally law enforcement has a lag time to catch up. But with Raman spectroscopy and all the companies at this convention, we see an abundance of new technology which can provide greater safety for the officers. So now their toolkits can include Raman spectroscopy, better bulletproof vests, better body cams, better vehicles, right? Because we know now officers are in a height of security and they need the equipment to protect them.
Well, we have a device that is certainly going to make our officers safer. It's going to detect multiple elements out there, no matter if it's explosives, drugs, fentanyl, etc. And with that said, right now, Mike, I know you have to have the attention. All of our viewers out there, What's the best way for them to learn about all of the products that you have to offer?
Well, they can simply Google Rigaku.com, or we also have a podcast called the Opium Matrix, where they can Google my name, Mike Brown, and they can contact me directly if they have questions about the technology. We can come out, we can set up demonstrations, we can work with the officers, even go out on the street with them if they want and do an actual examination of some samples that they seize. Because Rigaku, we're not a company that sells a product. We're a company that wants to build a law enforcement relationship with the community, because we understand the necessities. Myself, I'm a retired DE agent of 32 years, so I understand the threats that officers are facing. So Rigaku, we want a partnership, build that relationship, and help them as they need it.
Easy enough. Mike, thank you so much for being on.
Bill. Thank you.